Sakai, so I work basically in Sakai. So I'm just here interested to know what kind of feedbacks you have about this and what could be included. So I'm just here to understand, understand the people who are actually.
All right, that's great. We'll definitely have some feedback from the users. Thank you so much. So, can I guess you're from Raptors?
No, actually, I'm Aish and I'm from Unicorn.
Unicorn. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so second, a quick survey. How many of you are instructional designers? Who will help the faculty? Okay, very good. So how many of you are faculties who actually use the lesson builder? Okay, the other one third. So I guess the rest will be developers.
IT support.
IT support. Okay, very good. Thank you. So we have a very diverse group. So we will talk about a lot of things. Okay, before I start, I like to tell you a story I learned over the past 20 years. How many people does it take to buy a light bulb? We don't talk about installing a light bulb, okay? So it's just to buy a light bulb. All right, so I'm one person, okay? I managed to learn in the past years, and finally I can buy a light bulb. Right, so I learned from my parents, I learned from my neighbors, my friends. They tell me what kind of light bulb to buy. Okay, finally one day I reached the point that I think I'm capable of dealing with Home Depot. So I went over there. So have you, I guess all of you have been to the Home Depot or Lowe's or any kind of home development store to buy a light bulb, possibly? Okay, so this is what the Home Depot look like. All right, so if you look at the layout chart, it's a well-designed store, right? So you have many rows, and each lane have a designated type of goods. And if you look at the entire store, there are many entrances facilitate your easy access, right? So this is what you see. However, what I see when I go to the store, this is what I see. All right, so Home Depot, there are so many doors. I don't know which way I should take. All right, so I just park my car there, pick the one that's closer to my car. So I walk in, this is what I see. So I just need a light bulb. Where do I go? I don't know. I just walk around the store for 20 minutes, right? So until reach the point, I see the sign says light. So I managed to buy a light bulb from that aisle. All right, so this is some lessons I learned. So what the designer sees is totally different from what the students see or what the customers see. Okay. So you have to think about it from their perspective. Let me go back to what we're using right now, which is called the lessons. So we're piloting Lesson Builder, but right now the whole school uses lessons. Now, when you walk into lessons, there are many different tools. So we just described Sakai as a toolbox. Yes.
I'm sorry, I want to clarify. There's Malete,
Yeah.
that is lessons, and then there's lessons. That's the builder, that's lessons. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Lesson Builder.
Okay.
But right now, it's the old one.
What do you mean by that?
The one that you create a module and add a section to it. So that would be a linear structure. Malete, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, so this is still what the Marist College uses right now.
Okay.
Okay. So when you walk in there are many tools. Each one is equally important, but maybe you use some more than the others. All right. So this is from the student perspective. So I describe the process that possibly a student will experience in a course that lasts about 4 weeks. Okay. So first, the student goes to the home and read the syllabus and go to the lessons. So the lessons tell him that you need to read some articles. So the student goes to the resources and read the articles. Sometimes the instructors still are not comfortable making the links. of the articles in the lesson. So they tell the student to go to resources. Okay. So read article in resources, and then they submit a paper in assignments. Then they go to forum, discuss about this assignment. Okay, they go back to the lessons. But week 2, they read another article, discuss about it, and go back to the lessons again, week 3. Write another paper, read the test and quizzes, go to the test and quizzes, take an exam, a self-study exam, for example, and go discuss the exam in the forums. Then go back and read more. There are probably some supplementary readings to finish. Okay, final week. We go back to the lessons again. The instruction is very clear. Yes.
Yeah, just a question. Why not go directly from the syllabus to the whatever quizzes, or why do we have to go through the lessons? Just in terms of conceptually, because you can go from the syllabus directly to whatever you need.
Yeah, your design is perfectly valid, so you can just use syllabus as central hub. But at Marist College, many instructors use lessons to describe the activities for each week. So students usually go back to the lessons. But you are right, they can still go to the syllabus. But syllabus tool is not used so well at Marist College. Many of them use it as a storage, just store the PDF or Word document in there. So not a lot of students actually go there. So the final week, they finally want to figure out, the grading policies, to read the syllabus one more time, and read more articles, review the articles and make sure everything is covered. And they go to the test quiz to take the final exam, and finally they reach the point of their final grade. So if you look at this process, students are running through the Sakai. They go to each different tools, and it's quite chaos. I haven't done the research, but I'm really curious. So if someone can map out a student's path in the Sakai tool over the one semester or over the period of one course, what it would look like. So very interesting. So looking at this lesson for the Malika, so I don't really like it. So you have to direct the students running around. I would sometimes call it a warehouse experience. So you have to go to each aisle and look for different things. Now we piloting the lesson tutor. We try to strip down many other tools so that students will be focused on the lesson tutor. Now this is what the students. This is what the students may see in a course. So they log into the course, go to the home. The syllabus tool doesn't have to be there. So, but some instructors still use the syllabus. They go to the lesson tutor directly, then they move through the pages from week 1 to week 4 very quickly, very easily. So everything is embedded. Right here, you can see that. Okay. Then they reach the point that they finish the final exam, and they go to the group work and look at their grades. So that's it. So if you look at the entire process, it's very streamlined. So home, lessons page, and group work. So these are only 3 buttons they need to see. They don't need to see anything else. Right? Everything will be embedded in the lesson builder pages and very streamlined. The other tools like resources, assignments, forum, consequences, instructors still need to set them up, but students don't have to see them. All right, I'm going to demo some pages in a few minutes. You can see how we made that happen. All right. So if you think about what the designers or the instructors have to do, we have basically 3 steps. First, you need to set up the resources, put all your materials there, set up assignments, forums, tests, and quizzes, and then you go to the lesson builder tool and set up the pages one by one, and embed all your learning activities there. When you have done that, you go home and you post your announcements, and you go to the grid book, send your test and quizzes to the grid book, and publish the course. So it's pretty much a very simplified steps, those 3 steps. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. Okay. So I'm about to demo the several MOOC courses we created in the past 6 months, a year, and we use the lesson builder in all of those courses. If you like, you can actually follow along. All the MOOC courses are open right now, so you can create an account and go to the MOOC courses and look at yourself. Okay, so it's really very open and free. So all you need to do is just create an account in there. We have 2 different types of MOOCs. One is from the computer science department. We have enterprise computing. In August, we're going to launch another 2, which is Nancy Johnson and Rob Canister. The other one is the fashion department. Fashion department has a little bit different approach. They have the first one called the Future of Fashion, which we will have a session at 1 o'clock about the fall. And then there are a series of mini books, which is really short, 4 modules. Right? So if you create a account login, you can see all of them. Now we're going to the slides. Login. Right. We have run this MOOC twice. Okay, we desperately need some web services to fix the status on this page. Anyway, this is the computer science ECC MOOC, enterprise computing. I'm logging as the admin, so you can see all the tools on the side here. All right, on the left. Those italicized and a little bit of grayish, these are hidden, which means students cannot see them. If you look down here, this course still keeps the syllabus, right? And added the instructor info pages. Yes.
I just want to point out that it looks like this course is actually using lesson builder for the syllabus. And I'm using the syllabus for look at the icon. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh, I forgot about this one. Okay, yes. So it's called syllabus, but it's still a lesson builder page. Exactly, very good, thank you. Alright, so this one is a very simple page, mostly text, and I think they add a table here. Yes, I add a table here. Now, if you look at the left, we created a lot of pages for each topic. So there are these many topics, and then we got a certificate page and an FAQ page. The resources has a quiz hidden, so students cannot see them. We made this happen by using a page order helper. It's not a part of the course template. We have to manually add a page order helper into it. So, do you guys know what page order helper is? You use it before?
It's part of the site info, isn't it?
Not really, no. It's a
It's
separate
for us. It is in our instance.
It's in your instance,
Yeah.
okay. We don't deploy it in a template, so not a lot of people see the secret. So when you go here, the page order helper, you can, drag it and change the order of them, and you can also hide them. If you click this little bulb, it's hidden. All right, if it's gray, it's hidden, or you can just remove it. Okay. In this course, the instructor insists on keeping them. It just hides something that the student don't have to see. Yes.
How did you get your menu to have the separations in the section names?
Separations?
The categories.
The category, course tools, course.
This one?
Yeah.
The course tool is the original template. It has the 3 separations. But if I go to another page, you will see. Let me see if I have another. Okay, so this is this is not. All right, so this is the pretty much the separation of the categories here. It's in our template. So you have these three categories: communication, course tools, and site management. All right, and if you go to the MOOC course here, not this one. If you go to MOOC course here, when we added all the lesson pages, okay, we use the page order helper to drag them into different sections.
Yeah, our instance doesn't have that separation. I've been wanting to get that look to be able to break up that menu to some sense like that, but we don't have that.
Okay.
Yes, just a suggestion, you could add like some tool that just has icons right here.
We tried that, but I don't know, because it still rolls over and.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, boldface, you could boldface it, it would kind of make it throw it out. Try putting the underline, I mean, we tried a whole bunch of different things, but it didn't. No.
It's just in our template. I'm not on the items.
Is
Okay.
there anybody, so I don't do that. Anybody here from your institution who would know about that you
Yes.
refers to?
Yes.
Right there.
Okay, well, I'll connect you after this session.
Oh, okay, it's, our distribution of Sakai, we get created a way to have full categories.
Right.
It's not really being done today, anything that the school management from within the site info. And I assume you should have the reason that you're seeing page for help without site info. See it is that our implementation of this school grouping absolutely will not play nicely with the page for help. It creates a lot of problems. So the two of them are not. The two of them are not. Yeah, the two of them are not. Yeah, we usually what we see. It's kind of I've never seen this as a cool third way of doing it.
I've never
Just
seen
pull
it.
out. I've never seen it. I didn't even know you could pull out paper helper separate. It's a helper. It's a quote unquote helper tool for the site info. So usually what happens when you activate it is you get an extra button inside the portal. So this is to me it's a
Yeah, we find it very helpful. Yeah.
Come and talk to you after.
come talk.
Yeah, we can talk later, don't worry. So in this particular book, it's very helpful to have all the tools here. But if I show you another book, you don't have to have the separation of these different categories at all. So let me show you the other one. So this. The future of MOOC.
Future of fashion.
Future of fashion, yes, exactly. So if you look here, all the site management tools are hidden from the student. You don't have to see it at all, right? So we also hide many other tools. What the students see are home, forum, about this course, which is a lesson tutor page also, and course content, and report, that's it. So it's stripped down to the minimum. The student don't have to know all these tools exist. They just know these. Okay, let me see if I can just log in as a student so you can. See. Alright, so this is the student view. If you look on the side here, you have the forms about this course content, report, that's it. So very clean. Yes.
What is your course content that we have?
The course content, yes, that's my next step.
Awesome.
Yes, don't worry. So if you look at the course content, that's where it's delivered. Okay. Action move, we moved on. This is instruction page. And student recorded the video, and then you have a list of all the modules. Right? So in the computer science demo, the instructor insists on putting all the topics on the menu on the left. But this one, they don't care. They just put all the modules as a list on the first welcome page. So if you want to go to each different module, you can. Just go to each different pages. And also you have the next button. You can continue doing that. And then go to the next one. This is what the students see. So if I go back to my here, I need to go to step 2 here. Yeah, we have the most problem with the page structure. It took us quite a long time to figure out the best navigation for the page structure. So this is one that is exemplified by the ECC move, and this is another one exemplified by the fashion. Okay. Besides this page structure problem, we have another problem with the page layout design. So what's going on one single page? Okay, so after a while, we'll figure out a solution, which is this. Okay, so I tell you this simply because we have some very difficult discussions with several different instructors. So even if the instructor has a design background, they also still has a difficult time to figure out what's going on each different pages. Okay. I'm going to show you some examples in the fashion book. So right here. So if you look at this fashion book, this page actually is pretty long, right? Okay, this is pretty long. If I go to one page to give you an example. Why is it not? Oh, I'm in the student view, sorry. Let me go back. If I go to this page, okay, this one. In this page design, the students put 3 pictures there. If you use lesson builder, you understand that. If you use the button embed multimedia, they just go occupy the entire horizontal line. And if you add another one, it will go underneath that picture, right? It doesn't go horizontal. So we have to use 3 pictures parallel to each other to show the comparison. So we instead of using that embed multimedia, we have to use the rich text editor. So you can see this button here. We use the rich text editor and insert the table there so that they are parallel to each other. Right. So if I show you an example of just embedding the multimedia on this page. So this page, you can see all the people's straight styles. So if we use the insert picture, and this page goes really long, and you can just keep going and going, right? And also, this one is pretty interesting. The students try to show a video, but the embed code is so difficult to figure. We only could get help from YouTube, use the YouTube embed code. But from other websites, very difficult. So this is a workaround. we have to embed the entire web pages. So this is the entire web page. If you click this edit button, so you can see this is the web page. And we intentionally make it a little bit taller so we can see the video play button. So it's quite different. Yeah, we have some workaround. Now, if I go to another example there, actually, this faculty designed the fundamentals of text type. So this is the intro page, looks okay, right? So she also used the highlight to show that this is text type. Right? However, if you go to the individual pages, she has a hard time to describe what's going on the page. Usually there will be a monologue. But for example, instructor will stand in front of the classroom, tell the class what's going on in this page, right? Or what's expected of you, and probably at least the 200, 500 words. But when the instructor tries to design something for this page, that's a stop, just one very simple sentence, and go on to other pages. Right. So besides the graphic elements, so the instructor also has to take time to figure out the descriptions, what kind of description or instructions should go on the page. Right. So this instructor, from the pedagogy point of view, it's very important to lead the way for the students. However, that portion sometimes is lost. And also, if you look at this page, this is a quiz. However, due to the design of this page, it's very difficult to recognize this is a quiz. And it's buried together with these three things. Right? So we try to figure out some way to separate it. Let me show you the example that we did in ECC book. Well, it may not be the best way to do it. It's just something that we did. So let me go to this. So this is the introduction page. The computer science department insists on putting additional links on the intro page of each module. So this is what we have to make do. We use the rich text editor, insert a two-column table. The video is on the left, all the additional links are on the right. So we have to do a little bit HTML coding. So this is broken down into different pages. We go to the presentation page. And this is a discussion. So each activity occupies one page. When you finish this activity, you move on to the next page. Read the article. Yeah, this is also instructor's choice. When you embed a PDF file, it has a very restricted dimension there. So sometimes it's 300 pixels, that size. If the student wants to read that PDF file, you have to scroll along, right? Sometimes it's too small. Instructor doesn't like it. So what we did is we put a thumbnail picture here. Looks like a PDF, but actually it's a screenshot of the front page. And if you click on it, the PDF document will download. And then you save it here. Okay? So this is what happened. And then that's another thing. We cannot go back. You have to click the back button. Right? So, and then you move on to more readings. So go to the next page, another activity, another embedded image. This is not a embed PDF. This is just a screenshot of that PDF. So move on, and this is a discussion, and we can click and go to discussion. Right, let me show you what they did with this. Here, let me just move on really quick. Yes, here's the quiz. So to draw attention to the quiz, we intentionally put a next page link here. I'm not sure if it's the best way to do it, but that's what we did for a year. Students seem to pay attention to the quiz. Quiz got an entire page with instructions. We have conditional release on this one. So the instruction is quite detailed. Students know how to do it. And then when they finish, they have to click completion so that we know that they complete everything. And then when they finish this module, they go here and go. So you can see that the page layout problem and the page structure problem, it can go together. So sometimes you have a hard time to manage both. That we have different faculties, different ideas, sometimes a long discussion about these issues. So it's about 36 or so. If you log into Moodle, you can see the page design of everything, but unfortunately I had to move on to the next slide. So here. We definitely have many issues we want to handle. So I give you just a very short list of them. So in next step, we try to keep piloting the lesson builder to understand it better. I do have better idea about how to talk to the instructors, how to tell them how the lesson builder works. But I see that we require some different skills from the faculty members. They have to know something about graphic design or page layout design. I'm not sure if they are willing to embrace the change. So from yesterday's sessions, I think some of you are in there. So faculty viewers, is it easy to do? And sometimes they will say, I don't want to learn anything new. I just want to stick to the old-fashioned things. So when we developed the Moodle group, we did encounter several of these kind of occasions. The instructor wanted us to create all the pages for them. I wouldn't say it's a rare occasion. Okay. Now, and of course, we just try to clarify the name, right? So lessons, lesson builders, maybe we just change the name to lessons 2, just like the group work and the group work 2. And also the interface is a hot mess. I personally don't know where to start. Hopefully there's a teacher and learning group who start this new adventure on this. I personally have joined. I just thought for everybody. Yes.
And I noticed in the Sakai release, there's already some improvements to the lesson builder.
That's original.
It's not being quite so.
Yeah.
Always there.
I will be in the session on Sakai. What's going on? Okay. And there are also some technical issues. We haven't quite figured out how to use a conditional release. So we have some different way of assess the student. Some require 70% so that they pass and they qualify to get a certificate. Some of them just require the student to take the quiz as a self-study. So as long as they access the page, they're okay. So that's not so strict. We have different requirements. We have tried to figure that out.
That's a testing quizzes feature, is that right?
It's one of the features in testing quizzes and also combined together with the lesson builder. Yeah. And when we embed the multimedia, so far we have great success with YouTube videos, but not other things. And instructors also have many different kinds of materials. In the ECC MOOC, the instructor has the Adobe Presenter files, which the final product is the advanced PDF file, which requires a specific Adobe plugin. A lot of users don't have that. We have difficult time struggling to support the students. But it's MOOC, we don't support MOOC at all. We just let them run free. So that sometimes creates problems. And also link to the forums. Sometimes you want to link just to the forums, but not to the specific topics. But if you have more than one topic, on the one forum, you cannot link to the forum, you have to link to a specific topic. So that you have to link all of them here. Looks a little bit messy. Yeah. So we don't know if that can be solved later. There are some new features we want to try if we can let the student create content. And when we have the Sakai 10, we have the peer assessment. So in the next round of book, possibly we will try the peer assessment. Student agencies that works. Yeah, there are many other questions, so we still try to figure out where to go next. Right, so this is very short. Try to leave some time for questions. And if you want to talk more with me, this is my contact information, and also welcome to visit us. We will have the Learning Analytics and the Knowledge Conference next year in March. So this is where we are. So everyone welcome. This is Prezi. I have made it public in the Prezi website. If you want to see this one, just go search my name, Louisa Lee, and you will find this Prezi. All right. How much time I have here? Oh, 5 minutes. Sorry. Any questions? Yes.
I just have one comment. I help faculty, but I also teach myself. And so when I first was using lessons, I wanted my students to be able to see my feedback. And they could go to lessons and click on the topic and see, instead of go to gradebook and see my comments. And they could go to assignments and they could see inside assignments my feedback. But I had to keep reminding my students to go to assignments to see my feedback. But now, it sounds like in 10, you're going to be able to see insert your feedback in your gradebook. The only thing that I see missing is that if I want my students to see their test feedback, they have to go to test quizzes to be able to see feedback.
Yes.
So there's not a separate area for taking a test and seeing results. You have to go. So I've had to add on my course tools list test and quizzes if I want my students to see their feedback. You can't hide it.
Yes, this is important to know. Because we are running a MOOC, so we don't care about the students, just let them run free. We don't give them feedback. So we haven't encountered that problem. But I definitely imagine in a regular course, you definitely want to give students feedback. But in a lesson view learning, you only can take the quiz, not seeing the results of the quiz.
Right.
Definitely, that's a very good point. Thank you.
We can submit the assignments lesson that we do set dates and we can just have a link and keep back.
Oh, I see. So
They still get to the results.
Yes.
So how did you collect information on that? This particular course design works. For example, you started with saying that students started from home page, then they went to test and quizzes, they were just going all over the place, and then you said that we have simple design.
Yeah, so this is
how exactly you get feedback?
yeah, so this is my assumption. It's not a real map.
Oh.
Yes, I just created this route to just try to make everybody think this kind of route may happen. So I said I'm very curious to know if actually somebody can do this research and find out, you know, how why the student run through the Sakai and go to different tools. I'm really curious to that. So would you be able to create some app and so we track the students' path?
You can kind of use the statistics to get information on what kind of activities the students are doing in the tools. I'm just curious that if you've already done that, and that was the reason you mentioned for simple design for.
Yeah, this is my assumption. Students have a difficult time to go to each different tools. I got calls from students and also from faculties. Sometimes I train them, I would say, on the phone, I would say, hey, click that statistics. You will see how the student uses it. And I will wait for like 1 minute before that person on the other line of the phone says, I cannot find the person. So, even if you put everybody on the left and you categorize them, they cannot find it. So, no matter how well you design on the left panel, it's still a problem. Have to find a better way to do it. Thank you. Any other questions? Very good. Okay, very good. Thank you, guys. Right. Going on. Hey, how are you?
I just was checking that, and it's there, but I don't use it. So, yeah, I was looking into that. So Sean has a test site that has implemented that tool. You have to like install it. It's there, but it's not. There's you got to off Apereo.
Have a good day.
Be honest, my personal opinion, I would like to see possible a way to make some kind of headers, not have to place them in headers. It really makes no sense. Not to improve it, it's just to have headers. Well, but, yeah.
And so I had, I created a template in one add the headings, and so it gave a good sense of consistency. They knew that there's going to be this separation, and that's basically what it was. was just a divider for Sakai.